Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed on to consent calendar. We have 5 items. Is there any item that any member of the council wishes to have pulled for a separate vote? Any item that, I'm sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
For a separate vote, and then we'll see if somebody just wants questions or comments.
I would request, this is Councilmember Mason, the second bullet point, authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract with Ranger Pipelines.
The resolution?
Yes, please.
Okay. So do you want to just have questions or comments on that, or do you want a separate vote aside from the consent? So you can take it all as a package, or if you want a separatized vote just on that item alone.
I think a separate vote, please.
Okay. Anything else for a separate vote? Any item that we just want to have comments or questions of staff? Okay, is there any action on the remainder of the consent?
Move to approve the remainder.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and second to approve A, B, D, and E. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? 5-0 voice. We'll move back to item C, which is adopt a resolution. Specifically, Linda talked about authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract with Ranger Pipelines Incorporated for the Avenues 1-3 sewer and water main replacement project in the amount not to exceed $5,886,901.20 and approving material testing contract, etc. Linda.
Hi, I just wanted to ask if we could get a better explanation on the procurement, because the numbers were, I believe, vastly different. And I'm just wondering why. I believe, I want to say it was about $1 million, and I wanted to know why such a difference in the cost of the proposers.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The bid prices for this project really varied quite a bit, as you saw in the staff report. The lowest bidder is at $5.9 million, and then the highest bidder is about $8.7 million. It's really difficult to tell, what how these bid prices were determined, and some contractors may see that not a lot of people are bidding on this project, so they may end up raising some of their unit prices, or Ranger Pipelines, maybe with this economy, they may want to just keep their guys busy, so they don't, they minimize the amount of profit that they're making on this project. So it's really hard to tell what the difference between what the justifications are in terms of the bid prices. But one thing that we know is that Ranger Pipelines hasn't elected to withdraw their bids, so they're actually good with the prices that they provided to the city.
And what is their record with the city, and do we consider past practice when procuring our contracts?
Ranger Pipelines hasn't worked for the city, but they are a really large contractor that has been working on major infrastructure work for other agencies. One of them being actually SFPUC. They're the current contractor right now, and that's working on the Bay Division pipeline number 2 to replace the 54-inch pipeline and through San Bruno as well. So they have extensive experience with building water and sewer infrastructure. So I don't have any issues with their experience and their qualifications to work on our project.
Okay. And was cost a factor in the procurement?
With these public bid projects, we always have to select the lowest responsible and qualified the bidders. And so with this, with the public bid, Ranger is the lowest contractor that submitted the bid. So we have to, we always review their qualifications and their and get references from other projects that they worked on. So they, and they are a reputable company that is capable of doing this project.
Okay. And then my other question is in regards to the paving. So if as the project, I guess, evolves or moves forward, are we also going to be repaving the streets to really save money so we don't have to go back and repave later? Because I believe in the chart that I saw, all of those streets are considered streets that are going to need repaving in the priorities list.
Correct. So, and the reason why we haven't repaved those areas is because we wanted to, replace the water and sewer pipelines first. And so this is very similar to the other areas that we're actually completing right now fairly soon, which is the avenues 1-1, 1-2. So this is a continuation of that, project, the phase 1 project that we started. So, this limits of this project is from Taylor, Florida, all the way to San Felipe, between El Camino and Huntington. So all of these streets will be repaved after the water and sewer mains are completed.
And is that part of the budget that is that's outlined for tonight?
That is included. The cost, the bid amount is inclusive of all of the work that's within the scope of work. That includes the replacement of the water and sewer as well as and paving.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marty.
Give me a second. I just had a little bit of a disruption.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was going to pull this too because this is a huge project. It's approaching $8 million, and I think it's worthwhile to have our community be aware of the amount of work that has been done and that continues to be done for this project, and that the work that remains to be done. I find the prices very interesting. In San Bruno many years ago, I did work with Ranger, but my experience has been it generally depends highly on the project manager that's assigned, that tells you how well that project is going to run. But they're reputable. I'm aware of their work for the SFPUC. My concern, and thanks Councilwoman Mason for bringing this up about the paving. So this is full paving. This isn't just T-trench paving that is going to be happening for all of these water and sewer projects that are being completed. Is that true?
It is full paving. It's the full mill and fill.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just a T-trench.
Okay. So I think many of our workers are maybe aware that in this part of town, that when you disrupt and you go deep and you break the surface, you create conditions that sometimes require to have the geotextile placed within the trench. I just thought I would remind staff about that and how costly that can get if it's not addressed earlier than later. I also wanted to bring up the fact of how sparse parking is in these areas, and during COVID-19, it's understandable that parking restrictions and tickets aren't being issued. However, the amount of space that contractors are currently using, and I know it's a different contractor, but I would hope that we could look at possibly finding a laydown yard or having the contractor provide their laydown yard. Artichoke Joe's is currently open to store all their equipment, because the use is very, very messy. And the previous contractor actually working now, has left more construction materials and equipment on the street than I've ever seen in my time here in San Bruno. So I wanted to ask that now, as you're moving forward, to make sure that it's a clear understanding that the streets will be cleaner, because this last job, in my opinion, just around the corner from me, there's some improvement that's definitely needed. So I am in support of this contract. It continues to accomplish replacing some of the oldest water and sewer mains lines in San Bruno. And I'd also encourage the residents, if we're still allowing the sewer lateral lower lateral to be replaced during this, as in previous contracts, to make sure that word gets out, because that's a very worthwhile service that we're providing to our residents. Thank you.
Any other comments from council? And I think, you know, on that, Mr. Tan, what it was there were concerns that residents raised too on the condition of the street, like Marty had said, whether it was a cleanliness, whether it was blocking, very limited parking. So I think also what would be helpful too is if we just had somebody kind of doing a trust but verify. Yes, we've talked to them. Yes, we've given them our expectations, but then we have that somebody follows through and just, you know, double checks that it's leaving in a condition that the community and we are accepting. Is there anything else, council? Okay, so we wanted to, Linda wanted a separate vote on item C. Is there any action?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0 voice. Let me go to Marc, City Attorney. Considering we're on Zoom, should this not be a roll call vote?
That probably prefer to do that for this particular one and any other items on the agenda that require either a resolution or a formal motion.
Yeah, so since it is that, I'm going to ask Melissa if you could take roll on the items, please, just so we have it. Is council fine with accepting all of consent? And we'll take a roll call vote to accept all A through E, take them as a group. Is that acceptable, City Attorney? Okay. No disagreements with council. Melissa?
Councilmember Davis? Aye. Councilmember Medina?
Aye.
Councilmember Mason?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar?
Aye.
Mayor Medina?
Aye.
Motion carries.